Well, turning back to one of our top stories now, a federal jury has convicted R&B superstar R. Kelly on all counts in a sex trafficking trial. A jury of 7 men and 5 women found the 54-year-old guilty on 8 counts of violating sex trafficking laws and 1 count of racketeering. Prosecutors accuse Kelly of grooming young women and minors and forcing them into unwanted sexual relationships. The singer has denied any wrongdoing for decades. So for more on this, we want to bring in Erica Brown. She is a CBS News producer that has been covering this trial since day one. Thanks for joining us this morning. Dozens of witnesses came forward to testify against R. Kelly. Were any of them there for the verdict? Did you speak to them? Did you see their reaction?
We didn't see any witnesses in the actual courtroom as the verdict came down, but in the moments after, we definitely heard from one, Jerhonda, who testified for the prosecution over the course of the trial. She said that R. Kelly had physically abused her, that she had engaged in unwanted sexual contact with him when she was underage. In the moments after the verdict came down, she said in a social media post, "Today my voice was heard." We also heard from Lizette Martinez, who didn't testify for this trial. She was prepared to, but ultimately she wasn't called by the prosecution to do so. She says she also engaged in unwanted sexual contact with him when she was underage, and she told CBS News' Jerika Duncan that she was extremely happy and relieved with the outcome of this verdict. Gloria Allred, who represents a number of accusers, some of them actually testified during this trial. She said it was because of their courage to come forward and to relive their experiences on the stand that prosecutors were able to make their case to jurors.
Can you walk us through what evidence you were able to hear and see during the trial?
Yeah, we heard testimony from 50 witnesses from both the prosecution and the defense, and we saw hundreds of exhibits of evidence that were admitted, mostly from the prosecution, including phone records, text messages, video, photographs, and even audio. We listened to some very disturbing audio, actually, in the hours leading up to the verdict, where we heard R. Kelly humiliate and abuse a woman. We heard from these accusers themselves. They said that they were physically abused, sexually assaulted by R. Kelly. Some of them said that they had contracted a venereal disease from R. Kelly, who knew that he had it but did not disclose his status to them. We also heard from members of this enterprise. So prosecutors had argued that it was with the help of R. Kelly's inner circle, his associates, his former employees, that he was able to carry out this criminal conduct. And we heard from some of them directly. They said that they were tasked with arranging travel and transportation for some of these women who were underage at the time to meet R. Kelly in various parts of the country. Others said that they had tiny strips of paper with R. Kelly's phone number on it, and they were responsible for handing it out to young women and girls in malls, in concerts and after parties. And others said that they were chaperones, and they will be responsible for escorting some of these women around and making sure that they did not leave, that they did not move freely, that they did not eat or use the restroom without the explicit permission from R. Kelly.
So there was a witness that initially did not identify as a victim, but then changed her mind later and testified. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, and that victim was identified by the court by a pseudonym of Jane to protect her identity. But she said that she did a national interview where she disclosed the nature of her relationship with R. Kelly. And in that interview, she was being untruthful. But while she was testifying under oath, she now believed herself to be a victim. She said that she came to that realization after she left R. Kelly. This was in July of 2019 after his arrest. And she said that she realized that she was a victim, one, because she had initially met him under the premise that he would help her pursue her career in the music industry. She was involved in a number of music clubs in high school, and she wanted him to help her break into that industry. And she said she realized that he'd done nothing to further her career. And when she was away from him and ultimately agreed to testify for prosecutors, she was able to embrace the fact that she had been abused.
So listen, it's not over for R. Kelly in terms of legal challenges. What's next for him?
That's absolutely right, Anne-Marie. His legal challenges continue. In Chicago, actually, the Northern District of Illinois, in a 13-count indictment, he's facing charges of producing and receiving child pornography. He's also facing charges in enticing a minor in illegal sexual activity. And also in Minnesota, he's facing charges of engaging in prostitution with a minor. So still, R. Kelly has a number of legal challenges ahead of him.
Certainly does. Erica, thank you so much.
Thank you.